Aloha and welcome to, wow, this guy's wearing clothes. That's totally awesome. So today I got some really cool things. Where am I? In the mail from Jeff Bezos' Dick Rocket. And it's parts work, an illustrated guide to your inner life, which I think is similar to internal family systems. Let's read the back. Says this book brings IFS to life in an exceptionally clear and captivating way. Between the evocative and fun illustrations, the living room metaphor, and the integration with Buddhism, it presents a wonderfully creative vision of the way our parts dance with each other and with us in our minds. I highly recommend it for anyone wanting to learn about the IFS model or about their inner lives. Parts work is popular and stimulating. That's by Richard Schwartz, the developer of internal family systems therapy. Parts work is popular and stimulating for my clients. The illustrations are encouraging and illuminating. I use this book in IFS sessions to clarify key points. Parts work is an invaluable therapeutic tool. So it goes on, and what it includes, this box set of 3x5 durable laminated cards features 73 colored illustrations of the interactive life of parts as presented in this book. So it comes with this, which are interactive cards, and if we peek inside, let's see what the first card is. The first card is a judgy woman with a list of things that you must do. So look at this card, think about it. Is it speaking to you? Do you have a part that is a protector part or a firefighter part, that tells you to do this? It's like, Does it represent someone in your family? Perhaps. That judged you and taskmastered you as a child, and you feel that you have to do this to yourself as an adult. So I'm gonna be working with these cards, not immediately, but in a bit. Yeah. The other things of note, I also got a Biomat today, which is super cool. I didn't know they were made in Korea. It's kind of reminiscent, but not really, of the Ganban Yoku that they have in Japan. I'm sure it's a different name in Korea or China, which are generally hot slabs of rock or salt, or earth, or my favorite one with these tiny smooth pebbles, like black polished tumbled rocks. They had different flavors of rocks, and they were heated from beneath, and then you would lay down and just sink into them. So ultimately, in my dream home, I will have something like that. Until then, I have a very expensive and very worthwhile, what would you call it? Heating pad in a way, but so it has many different layers of sort of earthing and grounding materials, and then the top, or the middle top layer, is um, uh, largest, I don't know, Himalayan pink salt, Himalayan rock salt sized, or a little bit smaller, amethyst crystals that heat up, I don't know, shoot out some type of ions, who knows, and keeps the warmth as well as providing a firmness to lay on. So it's super great. Look it up, Biomat. Looking forward to relaxing on that this evening. Connecting with some friends. The cute blonde yoga girl, whose name we shall not speak of. The hike we went on yesterday. I was up late last night. I felt that I needed to get the energy out to her, which was basically, hey, we have all this in common. I know you keep talking about the spark. It seems you're kind of living in the past, but the spark is your first kiss is going to be different than your 500th kiss. Um, so if you're judging a relationship on the first spark, or whatever, and she's like looking for a new relationship that gives her that same spark as her ex did, and also probably the same emotional instability because she still keeps uh, going back to him even after he left her, camping or whatever, and doesn't really care. So she needs to fix that pattern in herself first. Um, and I, I told her, look, people who go bungee jumping, couples, not couples, but a male and a female or whoever, two people, they go bungee jumping together, they rate themselves as more attractive afterward, and they feel juicier afterward, right? And so, if she wants to continue to go on Bumble dates, or she wants to fly to Tucson to see this like guy that like she didn't hook up with when they were in Hawaii before, because she has this like great fantasy idea of love, that's it's interesting because I know that I sparked that wonderful, great fantasy idea of love in her, but for whatever reason, she only wants to be friends. Now, does she just want a teddy bear? Does she just want a male friend that she can lean on while she fucks some other dude and doesn't get the emotional support from him? Some women want that, and I'm not that guy. So I put out there to her last night, why don't we go on a date? Why don't we see how we are with each other in a um, non-activity setting? And and she said no, you know, and maybe there could have been a moment on the hike yesterday, but I wasn't going to play that game, um, because I did with another girl many years ago on the exact same hike, and it became an uncomfortable situation, and I wasn't in control of the situation. And while I did flirt with her, and we got some energy out or whatever, um, it wasn't. I wasn't feeling that vibe, and I think both of us are generally in, like I said, too much of a motivated, pushing forward role in order to just stop and be present and be loving with one another in that way. I think it's our communication styles with each other. It's not necessarily my communication style. Like I want to be that with her, but I stop myself short of putting forth that energy. So I I think I need to have a little bit more of an assertive energy in that sense. At the same time, I still think that she um, doesn't look at me that way. So um, and I said, hey, why don't we just go on a date, see how the energy goes? And she said, um, she said, thanks for the kind words, whatever. What I agree with a lot of what you said, but I'm only interested in being friends. I don't want to go on a date with you. And that hurt, because she's talking about some Bumble date that she's having with a dude either tonight or tomorrow night, and she's like, "Oh my God, he likes comedy clubs," and I'm like, "Fuck that! I took you on a comedy club date 3 months ago." Whatever. So she needs to get her whatever out of the way. Also, she's probably still too young. Also, I need to work on grad school. Also, what the fuck? There's a million other women. And then I responded to that with a also a very lengthy text. But basically, the point is, I'm not going to be that. I will still be your friend, but I'm until I find someone that I can move on with. That's not you. We shouldn't hang out. So um, I don't know. At some point, I may write her or whatever, but not right now. And she's like, the ball's in your court. And I'm like, if you want to hang out. And I'm like, yeah, but again, you're we're wanting different things. You say that you're wanting a relationship that is built on friendship and friends first, but you're doing everything the complete opposite. So, um, it just goes to show the patterns that we grow up in. And the energies that we naturally attract in some ways. And so today, while dropping no bad parts off to one of my psychologists, great guy, I ran into a girl and from my yoga class who hasn't been coming, and she just started bawling. The relationship that she has with the dude for 8 years, the kids, she can't get away from him. He checks her phone. He has his own trauma. They can't work anything out. She's trying to get stronger to leave him. I'm thinking like, oh my god, and like. And then in the elevator, some other girl, she's like, "Oh my God, what's that book?" So it's definitely a very powerful book. I'm having a powerful energy around it, but I'm still attracting these wounded bird type women, and I need to move on from that. So, um, peaceful minds have the power to create a peaceful world. When the mind feels wild and cloudy, it may be that something from deep within has come to the surface, an old burden seeking release. Breathe, relax, and let it go. Just like right now. Old patterns of being that cuddle buddy, not even a cuddle buddy necessarily, for a girl, and not getting the physical satisfaction that I need. And the more that I set boundaries with that, and the more that I am open and forward about what I want and my desires, the more that I get what I want. The same thing with you. The more that you have boundaries and a clear, centered idea of what you want in your life, that's what you're going to get. Sanity is the unwillingness to do harm. I hold my fear by the hand, honored its existence, and thanked it for teaching me that happiness exists beyond the boundaries it creates. Yeah, happiness is right on the other side of fear. I think that's what Jesus said. Something like that. Free people have no masters but themselves. And one last long one. Movements change the world, but just as it is important to be part of and build movements to create a world where human rights are a reality for all, a world where systematic forms of social and economic oppression no longer exist, so it is equally important to build our own intimate internal movement that focuses on healing the greed, hatred, and fear within ourselves that cause so much chaos in our lives and are the actual underlying roots of the societal chaos we experience. Bruh. Every society is simply a composition of its individuals believing, consenting to, and perpetuating particular stories that come together to create the world we know. Corona! If the stories we choose to believe in change, we begin to understand that when we harm another, we are actually harming ourselves. Not in a fictional sense, but in a literal sense. Similar to the way that water is good for the body and poison is bad. Then we will quickly shift into a new world. And that is why the powers that be, who are in control of market forces and capitalism or communism or whatever ism that are out there, let's say money and wealth and greed, are afraid of increases in human consciousness. So click and subscribe, get your daily dose of human consciousness. I mean, Sadhguru's channel, not mine. But if you subscribe to mine, aloha.